She arrived with a big smile, flowers in one hand and a speech in the other. She said she came to help African women. She took pictures with babies, walked through villages, and greeted people in traditional clothes for the cameras. But behind her kind face, she was hiding a secret. And when the truth came out, she didn't just lose her fake charity, she cried in front of the whole world. Her name was Claire Dubois. A young white woman in her 30s, with a French accent, fancy sunglasses, and a calm voice. She came to Burkina Faso as the director of an organization called Hope Forward. Her mission? Helping girls go to school and supporting women's health. She gave interviews on TV, thanking President Ibrahim Traoré for giving hope to African youth. She visited schools, took selfies with market women, and gave out books and solar lamps. This is not about politics, she said. It's about humanity. But Claire wasn't just interested in helping people. She didn't even live in Burkina Faso. She actually lived in Abidjan, in Côte d'Ivoire. And the real work she came to do was a secret, and very dangerous. During the day, she traveled around with a big smile. At night, she made secret phone calls and sent hidden messages to people no one knew. She was always with a silent man who called himself a media manager. He never spoke. She had 2 phones, one for public things, one for security. And sometimes, she asked strange questions like, how far is the nearest military base? How often do the soldiers change shifts? Did the country recently receive new drones? At first, no one was suspicious. She was polite, clean, spoke good French, and gave out free supplies. But one day, in a small village, a woman whispered to the village chief. She's not here to help us, she's looking for something. Behind the scenes, the Burkinabe intelligence services were already watching her. They had found her name on a secret list of people working with a foreign spying program. Her emails were tracked to France, with code names like Phase Orange and Tax Zone. But President Traoré said, let her continue. The more she thinks she's safe, the more she will reveal. So Claire kept smiling. Still playing her role. But she didn't know her biggest move was going to be her biggest mistake. 3 weeks after she arrived, Claire was everywhere. She had met ministers, spoken on national radio, and taken photos with schoolgirls holding a sign that said, Africa first, women always. But in truth, her secret mission had just started. She had visited 9 villages in 7 days, all close to military zones, army camps, fuel depots, and drone towers. She said she was checking progress. But really, she was making a map. That night, in her hotel room, she opened her laptop and drew red circles on a map of the country. She named the file BFE Field Access EV2. The circles were not schools, they were military routes and drone stations. She attached the file to a secret email sent to someone named Melvin. The email went to an office linked to NATO in Abidjan. She pressed send. She smiled. She thought nobody saw her. But she didn't know her computer had been copied. Every click, every email, every word she typed, was being watched by the Burkinabe government. When she clicked send, President Traoré received a copy of the email right away. He looked at the map, read the code words, and said, let her continue. She just confirmed everything. The next day, Claire gave a speech at a breakfast event with journalists. She wore white and said, Burkina Faso gives hope to Africa. But when a local reporter asked why her organization only worked near army bases, she laughed nervously. That's just a coincidence. We go where people need help. That same day, the president's security team found a USB stick hidden inside a lipstick. Inside were satellite images, drone flight maps, and photos of government convoys. It was over. But President Traoré didn't want to arrest her quietly. He wanted the world to see. He sent her a special invitation. You are invited to speak at the National Conference on African Sovereignty as a guest of honor. Claire accepted happily. She didn't know the stage would be her trap. The event was grand. Flags waving, cameras flashing, red carpet. Inside the room were ministers, students, diplomats, and reporters. Claire sat in the center, smiling in a colorful African dress. The big banner said, "African sovereignty, our voice, our future." Claire was the last speaker. Her topic: how foreign partnerships support Africa. She had prepared a nice speech. True partnership is built on love, truth, and trust. But while she was getting ready backstage, President Traoré quietly entered the room and sat in the third row. She saw him, smiled, and walked up when her name was called. "Burkina Faso is a light for Africa," she said. "I've visited your villages, spoken to your women, and seen your hope." Some clapped politely. Then, she said, "We, the international community, do not want to control. We want to serve. We are your friends." Suddenly, President Traoré stood up. The room went silent. He walked calmly to the stage and said, "Madam Claire, you speak of trust. Do you trust us enough to answer a few questions live?" Claire hesitated. "So sure," she said with a nervous laugh. Behind her, a big screen turned on. A file appeared. BF Field Access v2.pdf. Claire froze. Her eyes grew wide. It was her secret map. This was no longer a speech, it was a trial. Then a second file showed an email. From Claire Dubois at hopeforward.org. Subject: Phase Orange, Civilian Convoy Surveillance. Text: BF West, clear roads, minimal resistance. Use school visits for visual checks. Mission continues. Her own words. The room gasped. A reporter shouted. She was spying on our army, while smiling with our kids. Claire stammered, "This isn't what it looks like." It was to raise funds. The president stayed calm. Raise funds. We cloned her devices. Every file. Every message. Orders sent from Abidjan to a NATO-linked office. She said she came to help our women, but she targeted our defenses. And worse, she used our children as cover. Claire started crying. Tears ran down her face. She begged, "Mr. President, can we speak in private? Please, not like this." But he said nothing. Two plainclothes officers stepped onto the stage. They didn't touch her. They didn't speak. They simply waited. The president looked at the crowd. Today, they come with kind faces. Gentle voices. Fancy names. But behind these masks, the same old tricks. Claire was led off the stage. A little girl in the audience cried, not from sadness, but from betrayal. She said she was our friend. By the next morning, the video had gone viral. Twitter, WhatsApp, TikTok, BBC, Al Jazeera. President Traoré exposes by pretending to be aid worker. Some Western media tried to defend her. But they couldn't explain the emails, the map, or the lipstick USB. The Ivorian president called Traoré. "Let's solve this quietly. She has important connections." Traoré replied calmly. "In your country, do as you please. But here, traitors face justice." That same day, the French ambassador asked for a private solution. Traoré refused. He went on national TV and said, "They ask us to forgive. But never ask how we feel when their agents smile at us and steal from us." That night, Africans were not just talking about a spy. They were talking about the moment a mask fell, not by violence, but by truth. Claire Dubois. She was released a few weeks later. Banned forever from the Sahel. Her name now means one thing. The woman who smiled, and was caught, in the middle of her own lies.